Hey everybody, what's up? We are live with more Fab Team League action for you. I'm your host, Adam Philipchuk, and today we've got a pretty sweet match. We've got Nathan Fortin of West Coast Best Coast taking on Shing Tsang of the Team Blue Pitch. And we haven't seen Team Blue Pitch yet on this stream. Uh, Last week, West Coast, Best Coast taking on the Oakenolds. But a cool thing about Team Blue Pitch is they're the other international team in Division Two of the Flesh and Blood Team League, I believe out of Hong Kong, and they're a pretty stacked powerhouse team. A few of their members making it into uh, the Hong Kong Nationals top eight. So some pretty promising stuff coming out of them. I know last week their record was 3-2 coming out of week one. They played against SEAL Team Lotus, and uh, yeah, they managed to take wins on Starvo, Prism, and Viscerai. Their losses on Old Him and Shane. So this is going to be it's going to be a good match. Today's a big match or a big day for West Coast, Best Coast, and Blue Pitch. We're going to see three matches going down. And in those three matches, those three matches could decide the week, because if either team manages to go 3-0 today, that's it. The series is decided. So, uh, pretty pretty big matches today. I'm just seeing now the players are loading into the room, so I'm going to take you down to the room here. We're going to have our hero reveal shortly. Here we go. Chi has just loaded in the room. He's getting his thing set up, and we're going to have our hero reveal. So we've got Prism versus Viscerai, a classic matchup. And this matchup's interesting for both players uh, because it's not an easy. Apologies about the stream here. It's not an easy match for either hero. Um, both players have to be very disciplined and have to really abide by their game plan, but also know when it's time to kind of hold and when it's time to push. Viscerai especially. Prism, I think, in this matchup, we'll see if Nathan sticks to the 27 Auras game plan through and through, but Prism is really trying to exchange life for board presence and just punish you for letting her develop her board. And if Chi in the early to mid game doesn't stay diligent on top of the auras, I think this match will be very much in Nathan's favor. However, if Chi is able to, even with a developed board state on Nathan's side, if Chi is able to have that huge explosive 30 plus damage turn, that still puts Chi in a really good place to take this match. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one goes. Looks like the players are just about done sideboarding here and are getting ready to roll off to see who's going to go first. I know technically in Flesh and Blood fashion, we're actually supposed to roll after the hero reveal and before we do anything else. It's a funny little habit that people are in where they do all their sideboarding and then they roll. I think that's just from old times. All right, so we have a tie on the roll. Everybody's going to roll again. Nathan rolling an 8 again, and Chi rolling an 8 again. So a tie on the roll twice. And are they just going to do odds and evens now? Looks like it. And it's an odd. Don't know who picked odd or who picked even, though. All right, so we're into the equipment reveal here. We've got a pretty standard loadout with Chi choosing Grasp. I wonder if Chi is going first here. Or if Chi is just committed to Grasp no matter what. All right, so we see Chi's going first. Blue Mauve Skies into a blue Spellblade Assault. This is going to make 3 rune chants on the back end. And if the Spellblade Assault hits, it'll make 1 more rune chant. Chi's got one resource floating, so we're going to see the sword after this for sure. Nathan blocking. Block for 3 with a blue herald of protection. And Chi is not going to swing the sword. Chi's going to save his rune chance. Makes sense. Don't want to, and the big things you don't want to use up your action, or not use up your action point against Prism on the opening turn. You want to have that go again in case Prism does decide to flash out that instant speed aura to be able to pop it. So I think that was the right call on Chi's part. Obviously not loving the fact that he gave Nathan the ability to filter, but all right, so we see Nathan, start of his turn, ticks up Tunic, and come in with an Ode to Wrath. So 1 threatening 2. Oh, she's only taken 1 so far. There we go, he's taken 2. And then we're going to see Nathan bring in a Shimmers of Silver. This is a aura that whenever you attack with an illusionist aura weapon, put a +1 counter on it. So Nathan looking to start stacking up some counters here in the early game, really start to chip down that life total. And she's got to be asking himself, does he push damage here or does he try to deal with the auras? And this is where I think a good disciplined Viz maybe tries to make a couple of rune chants, swing at probably the Ode at this point, and pass turn, save the rune chance for a future turn. So we're on Chi's turn here. Chi thinking long and hard about what he wants to do. Still thinking. And you got to be wondering, what's in Chi's hand right now? What is Chi thinking so hard on? Is he trying to sequence the right turn? Is he trying to decide if he's going to pick off auras versus pushing damage? I think if I'm Chi here, I'm looking to, deal with the Ode. That's probably my first priority. I want to have that off the board. I see chat starting to liven up there. What up, everyone? Pat, sorry, I figured you'd be working right now, or else I would have 100% gotten you in for this one. What up, Fighters Guild? And a what up to everybody else who's watching right now. Appreciate you tuning in for a midday stream. It's nice to not be streaming at 1 in the morning for once. Looking forward to when we can get some evening streams in though, and get a game going when the most of you are going to be able to watch. I think that's going to be pretty special. I'm looking forward to that. Getting Pat in on the stream, and so Chi's going to go with the Sonata here. He's probably deciding just on his X value now. So we're going with the Nexus 0, and that's a hit. I imagine Chi's going to take the swarming here. Chi's still thinking long and hard. See Jody Bernie in the chat. What up, Jody? And this is, when you're on these turns with Viscera, especially playing into Prism, this is, I find these are the ones that Pat was saying he's wondering if he can get greedy. Could very well be. Take the 9th blade and see what we can come up with. he's got to go again, and he's, let's see, the ninth blade discounted by 3 right now. He'd need to have at least 2 blues in his hand to pull it off. I just don't think that's good value at this point in the game when you've got 2 auras up on by your opponent. Yeah, you might get some good damage in early, but I think if he doesn't deal with Nathan's board already at this point to some extent, he's cheese poised to fall behind in this game pretty quickly, especially with an Ode to Wrath and the Shimmers on the board. That's the potential for a lot of damage if Nathan's able to keep stacking up his auras. But aside from his arsenal, Chi's still got a full hand. Chi's going to be going into a 5-card hand actually when he chooses his attack action here. So there's certainly lots of options. All right, I think we're looking at taking the swarming here. He's hovering over the swarming. And I mean, without a Bloodsheath activation, yeah, I just don't see how he gets the value out of Ninth Blade. And he's running creepers, so to give this go again would be even harder. Yeah, so swarming goes to the hand, 1 arcane coming Nathan's way, and Nathan now has to decide Nathan's going to take it. So meet and greets are live. Rattlebones is live. And she has pretty much everything he needs in place to make this a good turn now. So we're going to see what Chi's got up his sleeve. Starting with the swarming, this is going to be 3 with go again and 3 rune chance. Dumar, I see you in the chat there. We're using Tabletop Simulator here. So I think Tabletop is a $10 or $20 download on Steam. And then if you look in the workshop, there is the Steam workshop, there's a mod called the Flesh and Blood OSC. I believe it's the OSC mod. And that'll give you access to all the cards for free. Being mindful of the TTS is a great way to support the community, or sorry, to test and to try out new cards. But ultimately, the best way to support the community is to be buying cards and putting money back into. I don't want to tout like big conglomerate companies doing well, but we do have to support LSS still so that we can see the game grow. So it's just, if you're going to use TTS, be mindful of, you still got to do your part to support the company and support the game, which I think most of us do. I know all the guys I test with on TTS are avid players on paper as well, myself included. But yeah, TTS is, despite that, a great tool for testing and a great tool for streaming. You can certainly get really good perspective of the game. As a streamer, easy to blow up cards. When I say blow up, I mean such as we can zoom in on a card really easily. All right, so we see off the swarming, Chi's coming in with a Rebel. He's going to go to 6 rune chance, and it looks like he's probably just going to sword for 10 to face here then. Or come in with a Runic Wreck even. Pitching a blue. So he's going to be dealing with auras in a little bit more of an unorthodox way, putting some pressure on Nathan to block here, or else something's going to get blown up. Let's blow up the Runic Reclamation, actually. So when a Runic Wreck hits a hero, destroy target aura they control if you do create a Rune Chant token. And Ode to Wrath and Shimmers being auras, they do interact with this. So Runic Wreck is an interesting tool to deal with really any kind of board state Prism can develop. But the one thing I have found playing Runic Rec is on its own, it's not enough. If you're leaning into a Runic Rec without anything else to kind of add pressure, gonna you're really at that point hoping your opponent can't block it well. Because if Prism's got a good block in their hand, Runic Rec's just not enough. And here we see a block with the Skull Cap and a Soul Shield. That's a block for 8. Yeah. Nathan's pretty happy with that exchange, I think. He's still got 2 auras up, 2 cards in hand, and a card in Soul now. And Chi pushing some damage there for sure. But despite that, I do think Nathan came out ahead on that exchange. But we'll see what Nathan's got in hand here. It'll be interesting to see what Nathan does next. Because I think now at this point, if Nathan can kind of push a little bit of tempo or get another aura out, triple aura Chi, that's Nathan's pretty happy with that, I think. So we're at the start of Nathan's turn. Nathan thinking here a little bit. And we're going to see a Shimmers. This is going to get a counter on it. So this is swinging. Oh, maybe not Shimmers. Nathan thinking long and hard. Yeah, so we're going to see the Shimmers. Gets +1. So this is 2 threatening 3 now. And we're going to see a block with Scalata. Nathan in response, activating Prism, making a shield to give it go again. And forgetting to actually pop out the shield. There it is. And then another 2 threatening, or 1 threatening 2. And Nathan getting a little ahead of himself there, arsenaling before the turn is done. And unarsenaling. Chi thinking on this block, I think. Trying to decide what he's got on his turn. Life total's 36 for Chi, 28 for Nathan. Chi is ahead in life total right now, but Nathan ahead on the board. I think this match still is kind of in anybody's hand and really comes down to who can navigate the next couple turns the best. Like I said, if Nathan can develop that board state to a point where he can kind of overwhelm Chi, this is going to be handedly Nathan's game. But if Chi can have those big turns off of 5 cards, pushing 20 to 30 damage, those are the turns that Chi is looking for. Chi's still thinking on the block on this Spectral Shield. Oh, are we thinking about a Skullcap block here? Or are we thinking about a block from hand? Yeah, we're going to block with a Spellblade Assault. Is that a red? It is. So maybe this will be Chi going down to 3 or a 4-card hand, 3 in an arsenal. Maybe this will be a turn where we'll see Chi just deal with the auras on board. So we're going to see on Chi's side a pitch, blue become the Arcanite to play Rattlebones. Imagine he's going to go grab the Swarming here. Yep. Swarming gets banished and then played. This is going to make a Rune Chant on the back end. and is going to come in for 3 physical with go again. She's floating 1. She's got 1 floating, so she can threaten the sword after this. And she's got the option. He can go to face, or he can deal with an aura with sword. Once again, I think at this point, preserve that rune chant, and with the go again, Rosetta at. I still think Ode is the target here, but see what she thinks. Nathan thinking about his turn here. I imagine at this point, Nathan's probably thinking he wants to try to preserve, as long as he's got the Ode, he wants to try to preserve as many auras as possible. This is an easy card with 1 to 3 block. Mind you, there is the potential to creepers in. So Nathan's going to choose the no blocks. Nathan choosing, he'd rather hold his hand. Meet and greet's going to be at Shimmers with 1 arcane coming in, making 1 rune chant on the back end. Nathan's going to take the arcane, and Shimmers is going to die. So going into Nathan's turn, we do have a 5-card hand. Tunic is live. Ode's still on the board. And Nathan's going to start off with a Miraging Metamorph, 7 threatening, 8 with go again. And this is typically one that I find most people don't want to pop. The threat of things getting copied is just too high. And it's just not worth it, especially Chi. He's got a healthy life lead at this point. I imagine he's thinking he's going to take 8 here. Yeah, and we see just that. Chi takes the damage, down to 28. With Nathan's go again, he's going to swing Ode to Wrath. 1 threatening, 2. And Chi thinking long and hard about his block again. And I don't think Chi's so much at this point thinking about whether he blocks this Ode to Wrath. I think this is more so a consideration of what he's doing on his turn, and if he has any extra cards he doesn't need, preserve a little bit of damage that way. So Chi's going to say no blocks on the Ode to Wrath, and then we're going to see a red War-Tune Herald. This is going to be 7 threatening, 8. So Nathan pushing some big damage here. I mean, 7 for 1 is such a good rate as well, even with the Phantasm. Being able to threaten 18 damage. Is that what we're at here? 7, 14, 15, 67, 18 damage off of yellow pitch and 2 cards. Still got a card in hand and a card in arsenal. This Fortin Herald does have go again. However, with Nathan already down to 25 life, this is definitely a position where if Chi's got the big turn here, it's still a scary place for Nathan to be at this point. And we're going to see a block 4-5 here. Chi taking 2 there, but I believe Chi was supposed to be taking 3. Off the Ode to Wrath. We'll see if that extra point of damage ends up being a problem in the late game for Nathan. Nathan thinking about a tunic activation here. Yeah, so Nathan's going to pop tunic. Blue Wartune Herald, 5 threatening 6. Nathan recognizing he's already got Chi down to a 2-card hand. He can push another 6 damage. And Chi's going to elect to use the Skull Cap here. Block for 2. And that's going to go to Soul. Nathan passing his turn, holding on to his arsenal. Makes you wonder what he's got in arsenal. Possibly a Soul Shield. I could see him getting good value out of that. Chi's going to come in with the red Rune Flash. This is going to be 4 with go again, 1 Rune Chant. Pitching a blue Become to pay the cost difference. And Chi, it looks like he's indicating he's going to face here. He's targeting Prism. And I gotta imagine Nathan's just happy to take this damage unless he does not have the hand he wants. Life totals at this point, Chi is at 20, Nathan's at 25. We're well into the mid-game of this match. Nathan trying to decide if he really wants to go to 20 and even the life totals out. I mean, if he's got, I genuinely think if Nathan's got the hand at this point, he'll lean into it, but it's tough to say. We don't know what Nathan has. That's the downside to doing these league streams is we can't stream in the master mode and get all the information. Where the league is very conscious about trying not to give anybody an unfair advantage, and I appreciate that. It is, mind you, I could stream on a delay, but it is very possible for one of the players to go and spectate the stream, possibly see the other opponent's hand. So the league has been very adamant that the streams have to be as what's the word I'm looking for? Neutral as possible, which I appreciate. I think that's a good way to do it. So Nathan's still thinking on his block here. Got the Rune Flash threatening 4 plus a Rune Chant, so 5 total damage being threatened here. 1 floating, so Nathan can, or sorry, Chi can swing sword for 2 after this, and I imagine he would try to blow up the Ode. Nathan's hovering over his life. Yeah, looks like he's going to take it. And then we're going to see the sword at Ode to Wrath. Ode to Wrath dies. No more damage multiplier for Nathan. And we're going to pass to Nathan's turn here. Tunic going to 1. Be curious to see if we get another full Tunic activation before the end of this game. But I think we're right to hold on to Tunic for now. See if we can get it up to 3 again. Nathan thinking long and hard about his turn here. So Nathan's starting things off. He's got a blue War Tune Herald here, pitching a yellow Herald of Protection. So this will have Go again. This is 5 with Go again. And she has to be careful at this point, because if he does not have the hand he needs, he could take a whole bunch of damage here for nothing. And I imagine Chi's got to ask himself, is taking the damage here worth it? He's kind of at this point down at 20 health. He's really only got one shot to kind of pivot and push the turn he really wants to push. So we see Chi choosing to block this out, block for 6. So I don't think Chi's got the hand he's looking for right now. So Nathan opting to make an aura. Gonna swing for it for 1. And then we're gonna command and conquer. Woof, this is not what Chi wants to see. Chi probably really wants to hold on to his arsenal right now. I gotta imagine he's got something like a Sonata or a Rebel in arsenal, and he's trying to set up that big turn. Yeah, so we're gonna see another full block here from Chi. I bet you Nathan's thinking he wishes he had the pummel right now. But Nathan fully stripping away Chi's hand, and Nathan's going to be coming back into his turn with a full hand and an aura up now. That is definitely kind of, I'd say Nathan's got the tempo right now, and Nathan looking to hold on to that for the rest of the game here. Mind you, Chi will be looking for a pivot. Chi still has at this point, 1 point to block on his skull cap. He's got Grasp still at 2 points a block. And Creepers haven't been used at all yet. We'll see where Chi looks for his pivot here. Nathan trying to figure out if he can push another big damage hand. Nathan's got it looks like Nathan had 1 extra card in his soul that he wasn't supposed to. He's fixing that right now. So we've only got 1 card in soul. Nathan thinking about his turn here still. And I gotta imagine, okay, so we're gonna start off the turn opening with the shield for 1. Nathan probably got some sort of reaction here. Yeah, we're gonna pitch a yellow, pitch a yellow and a blue, so we're gonna be bringing in probably an instant speed aura. My guess would be Ode or Merciful are probably what. Oh, a Parable, okay. So attack action cards are gonna get -1 power while attacking and defending on Chi's side of the board. We're going to see Chi flash out a haze bending here. So Nathan trying to build some value on the board again. He's got two auras up plus his spectral shield. Haze bending will make more auras as non-token auras get destroyed. But Nathan already down to 20 life, and I think Chi at this point is wondering, can he just push it all the way here? Chi does have the 5-card hand going into his turn. If Chi's got the damage potential here, she could very well push a big turn here. Chi's still got his Scalata up, though he doesn't have any rune chance for it currently. And he does have creepers up, so he can do some interesting shenanigans here. Instant speed non-attack actions. So it'll be very interesting to see what Chi comes up with here. Chi's also gotten full use out of his skull cap at this point, so Chi's also thinking he's not worried about being having the higher life total now. Chi thinking long and hard about his turn. He's going to start off with a Maw of Skies. Is that red? Yes, it is. So next Rune Blade attack action will get go again, and on hit we'll make an additional 3 rune chance. Coming in with the blue Spellblade Assault, this will make 3 rune chance on the back end. This is going to be 2 with go again. And it looks like Chi's indicating that he's going to face with this one. Oh, and because of the Parable, this is coming in for 1 actually, not 2. My apologies. So Spectral Shield, threatening to block this whole thing on its own. So now we gotta wonder, does Nathan want to preserve his Spectral Shields? Without an Ode out, I think he's a lot less inclined to think he can push damage just on shields alone. Players have been locked in this mid-game life total area for a little bit now, a couple turns. I think both players are being a little cautious of not dipping below 20 life. Well, mind you, Chi's at 18, but around that 20 life threshold, because both of them kind of have the ability to absorb one more big turn, and then they're going to get in that position where they have to kind of block things no matter what. Despite that, though, Nathan's trying to hold his hand here, it looks like. She's still got 1 resource floating off the go again here. She's thinking about the Rosetta. If he does Rosetta at either aura here, he will keep his rune chance. The rune chance, when you trigger or attack a Spectra, Spectra being the keyword on any illusionist aura, the rune chance only trigger on attack action cards. So weapon attacks do preserve rune chance for future turns. I think if there we go. So we're going to see the parable get popped here. Nathan will get a spectra or a spectral shield out of this. So Nathan coming back into his turn, 5-card hand, total 2 auras up. Tunic is live. Nathan's got to be thinking he's pretty happy with his side of the board right now, I think. He's got the potential to kind of explode a little bit, try to lock out his opponent. We're going to see Parable of Humility get pitched and a War Tune Herald for 7 go again. And while Chi's thinking through his block here, I will remind the stream, we do have more Fab Team League action coming on later on tonight as well. This match being the first of our 3 matches today. Colin Honingman taking on Pudding Tam later on today at 8 p.m. PST, and then Yuki Lee Bender taking on Kaiser Wong at 11 p.m. PST today. So lots of action still to catch, and today has the potential to decide this series. If either team, Blue Pitch or West Coast Best Coast, can get that 3-0 lead on their opponent, that will clinch the series. And our call-in match will also be featuring co-host Pat Shaw from the Combat Chain. So that'll be exciting as well to get Pat up in the booth. Chi's still thinking about his block here. 7 damage puts him down to 11, and starting to get to that point where Nathan can just strip cards from Chi no matter what. And I imagine once again, Chi isn't thinking so much about what cards to block with. He's thinking about, at this point, does he have the hand he needs? Nathan's still at 20. Nathan has a Spectral Shield up, so effectively he's at 21. Plus, Nathan can use Footsteps to block. And for every time Chi breaks the chain at the non-attack action, Nathan gets his Footsteps back to block an additional time in the turn. So Chi still has a lot of damage to push through. 21 to 22 damage at the minimum. And Chi's probably thinking, how does he flip tempo here? He's got 3 rune chants up, so he can gain a little bit of momentum off of a Scalata activation at this point. But Nathan's still got 2 cards in hand, 1 an arsenal and a resource floating. Nathan still has the potential to push a lot of damage this turn. And that's part of the gamble, is Chi has to ask himself, how low am I willing to go? So we're going to see a block here. Block for 3. Chi's going to take 4. Blocking with is that a red meet and greet? It is. So that's kind of one of the more valuable cards Chi has to string on that big turn. Blocking with a red meet and greet does not feel good. With the go again, we're going to see a yellow Fortin Herald. This guy's going to be for 6. Threatening to take Chi down to 6 at this point. Nathan's still at 20. And once again, we're going to see a block for 3, taking 3, going to 9. Nathan's going to flash out another haze bending. He's going to call that a turn. Chi on his end, just going to threaten the command and conquer. 6 physical, 3 arcane. And defense reactions cannot be played to command and conquer. And on top of that, if command and conquer does hit the physical, that is, it will destroy. It will destroy Nathan's arsenal. So now Nathan's got to ask himself, how valuable is his arsenal? How low is he willing to go to maintain this board state and keep pushing the damage? He's almost got Chi where he wants him. It looks like Nathan's saying he's going to resolve the arcane. Oh! Nathan's going to flash out a Merciful, effectively emptying his arsenal. I assume we're going to resolve the arcane at this point. So it takes 2 shield pops, and that's going to be 1 threatened to Chi now, which Chi is going to take. And then Nathan's going to elect to take the physical. No worry about blowing his arsenal up at this point. So Chi's going to start his turn off. Miraging Metamorph 7 go, or sorry, Nathan's going to start his turn off. Miraging Metamorph 7 go again. This threatening to take Chi to 1, and now Chi's got to worry about anything popping and arcane coming his way as well. Especially since Chi does not have the AB1 on his side. He does not have Arcane Barrier 1. That makes every single pop off Merciful Retribution that much harder to deal with. So Chi is in a position now where he's going to have to give something out of hand, likely no matter what. Chi's trying to figure out how he can make up the 12 points of damage still. Chi is likely at that position now where he starts ignoring auras and just tries to go to face. But he needs to survive long enough to be able to effectively do that. Nathan's still with 1 resource floating. Miraging Metamorph does have go again. Nathan has 1 card in hand that we do not know what it is at this point. And on top of this, Miraging Metamorph is able to threaten 3 additional damage off his auras. And if Nathan does have something like a Fortin Herald here, this is going to be a really bad spot for Chi. So we're seeing Chi block. It looks like a block for 4. Yeah, so we're going to take 3, go to 5. Nathan going to threaten a swing for 1 off the Merciful. Nathan threatening to get Chi right where he wants him right now. We see Chi at 3. I think he's thinking about the last aura block right now. Does he go down to 2? He will go down to 2. Nathan still has 1 resource floating, 1 card in hand. And Nathan is, if this is a War-Tune Herald. Oh, we're going to see a pitch. Make another shield. And go to 1 and threaten Chi going to 1. And I gotta imagine Chi's gonna block this, yeah, because he can't go to 1 with the Merciful Retribution out. Nathan's possibly got Chi aura locked here at this point, but we're gonna see what Chi can come up with. Chi starting with the Gorg Tome, drawing a card. Viserai is live. We'll make a rune chant for each Rune Blade action played from here on out. And Chi's got to look for every little advantage he can get at this point. But with the Merciful out, this is a tough position for Chi to be in now. Every Spectral Shield pops threatens 1 Arcane. Nathan does have a card in Soul, is able to make another Spectral Shield. I kind of think Chi's only play here is to somehow deal with the Merciful Retribution first. He is going to take an Arcane off of that, but if he can deal with that, then that preserves him from taking any more Arcane. He will be at 1. He does have Skullcap live. He can AB3, but just the return, the rate of return there is just not there. And I imagine that's going to be Chi's last resort, is relying on his Skullcap. Chi thinking long and hard about his turn here. This could very well be Chi's last turn in the game, so he is making sure that he gives it his best. I agree, Pat. This is probably his best bet here is to, if he's got lead the charge into Merciful Retribution, and then keep going from there. And I think that's really what Chi needs, and was probably hoping to see off the Gorg Tome if he didn't already have it. Chi thinking long and hard, trying to see if he's got a way out of this. I imagine Nathan is probably sitting pretty comfortable right now. He's happy with his board state, with his life total. He's still got a full hand of 4 cards. And I imagine if for some reason she doesn't attack the Merciful here, Nathan probably his game plan is just to make another shield and try to threaten the 2 Arcane. We are in the tight throes of the late game at this point. Chi at 2, Nathan at 12. And Chi trying to figure out a way out of this, trying to find an out. How can he deal with the merciful, still push damage? I think at this point he's wanting to strip cards from Nathan's hand. Anything short of that, and I think Nathan's got this game. And she keeps going back to his Gorg tone there. I wonder what he's thinking. Looking at his graveyard, maybe we're sitting on a Rattlebones. Can she do something convoluted like deal with the merciful, then Rattlebones, and keep going? He needs some rune chance up to get the arcane to stick off the merciful, but even at that, all right, so we're going to see a Sonata activation, making a rune chant. Looking at the top 3 cards of our deck. And we've got a Mauve Skies and 2 CNCs, so that's going to be a hit. Taking the CNC, this is going to be 1 arcane coming to Nathan. And does Nathan prevent this or let the Spectral Shield trigger? Nathan's going to decide to let the Spectral Shield go. This is going to be 1 arcane coming back at Chi. Chi's pitching for 3 to prevent it. Chi still has a 3-card hand, 1 rune chant floating. We know he's got a Command and Conquer in hand. If he's got at least a yellow, he's able to play his Command and Conquer. And how you doing, chat? Are you on the edge of your seats right now? I certainly know I am. Just waiting to see how this is going to end. Gee, thinking long and hard. Nathan does have the ability to make a rune or a shield here. He's got 2 cards in soul right now currently. She's pitching a rune flash. Let's see what's going to happen here. Are we going to see the CNC or are we going to see something else? So we're going to see a sword to face here, it looks like. This is threatening to bring Nathan down to 9. That was a blue rune flash, I believe. Let's have a look here. Oh, it's a red rune flash. Bar looks blue from here. So none floating. Didn't have the cards he needed to play the CNC then, I suppose. So Nathan going to 9. Are we making a rune, or we're making a shield at the end of Chi's turn? So if Nathan has the yellow here, I imagine this could very well be it. Yeah, we're going to see a Miraging Metamorph. This is going to be 7. Full block from hand. And I think that is game. Nathan taking it 9-0 is the final. Wow. What a game. What did we think, chat? Did you guys have a good time watching that one? I did. That was a very well navigated match. Definitely with Chi starting off on that early life total. Nathan piloted very well to kind of bring it back, get Chi down, and overtake it. So that puts West Coast Best Coast up 1-0 against Blue Pitch in the series. And we've got 2 more matches coming up today. West Coast Best Coast still threatening the sweep of the series. And Blue Pitch now 1 behind, having to really lean in onto those last 2 matches today to not fall back further behind. So I think that's going to be it for this stream. Just another reminder, we do have 2 more matches coming up later today. Colin Honingman versus Pudding Tam. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Pacific. And then we're going to have Yuki taking on Kaiser Wong, and that's going to be at 11 p.m. Pacific. Looking forward to have you all join us for those. But until then, I'm Adam Phillipchuk, and we're closing the combat chain.